I traveled over 600 miles from Colorado to Big Sky, Montana to make this video. I'll be showcasing the best beginner tricks that you should be learning to try in a chronological order. Also, I've added chapter markers down below so you can come back to this video or skip around to a trick that sounds awesome to you.
Clean the lens.
Trick number 1 is going to be the most basic and most obtainable trick on this list, and it's called a 50-50. Our goal with this trick is to simply point our board straight onto the feature, ride the feature in a nice balanced position, ride off, and now you have completed a 50-50. But let's dive a little bit further in so you know exactly what to expect. As you're riding into the feature, I highly suggest that you complete all of your turns about 3 board lengths prior to the feature so that when you're pointing your board in, it keeps it as simple as possible. As you're on the box, you're going to distribute your weight evenly between both your front foot and your back foot, but you also want to be balanced from your heel to toe, meaning you're super flat based and balanced. In addition, you're going to notice that my eyes, lead, shoulder, hip, and board are all pointed in the same direction. This is going to allow you to prevent the rotation and allowing you to maximize your balance. Trick number 2 on this list is going to be doing a 50-50, but we're going to start with a nollie. This is a great way to start becoming more dynamic and testing your balance and ability while in the 50-50. You're going to notice that I start with the same approach, which is making sure my board and body are directly lined up with the box. I'm going to slightly shift my weight forward while pulling up my back leg, causing the board to bend, and then I'm going to jump off that lead foot. And then once I'm in the air, I'm going to pull up both of my knees, allowing me to flatten out the board, and then once I land on the box, I'm going to absorb the impact so that I can maximize my balance, and then once I've done that, all I gotta do is focus on riding off the box. Trick number 3 on this list is going to be a simple 50-50 with a tail tap at the end. This time you're definitely going to have to start managing your speed as well as the timing of this trick, so make sure you have your 50-50s and ollies pretty locked in. I'm going to approach the same way as I've done before, nice and straight on, and I'm going to ollie, which means I retract my lead leg, get a little flex in the board, and I'm going to jump off my back foot. As I'm in the air, I'm going to extend just my back leg, allowing that board to tap the box. You're also going to notice that I'm tapping at the end of the box. If you do this too early, this may cause you to crash or throw off your balance. Definitely give this one a try. And today's video is actually brought to you by Insta360X3. This has been one of my favorite cameras that I've used all season because I'm able to just seamlessly ride around the mountain and get the shot. Literally, this camera is great for going on vacation, hiking a spot, or trying to share memories with your friends. And one of the biggest questions that I get is, how good is the Insta360X3 battery? Well, I'm proud to say that I have used this camera in the coldest of days in Colorado and absolutely had no problems. I've definitely struggled with a couple of the other camera companies' batteries, so I'm super stoked that when I go to film and turn this on, it actually works without a problem. And while using this camera, the software will automatically remove the pole so that you get this really cool, seamless, and creative shot. If you're interested in picking up one of these cameras, I got one of the sickest offers just for you. If you use the link that is down below, you're going to get 11% off, a free selfie stick, and a snow bundle. What a great deal. Check out the link down below. This next move, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a trick, but we're going to call it the wiggle. This is a great segue to getting your board to move slightly left and right, allowing you to find the balance while moving your board, while simultaneously understanding which direction of rotation you may find easier. Now, the best way to do this wiggle, you're going to notice that I'm keeping my lead shoulder straight down the hill, and I'm allowing my legs to move in the opposite direction, causing the board to create the rotation. And the best part is you can start with a small wiggle and build up to a bigger and more dramatic wiggle as you get more comfortable. Trick number 4, let's do a backside board slide. Now, the goal is to get the board all the way across the box to 90 degrees and ride the full duration of the box. But we can actually break this trick up into a couple different segments so that it's way easier for us to learn. Let's first start off by doing a basic 50-50 and then getting our board to go 90 degrees. A couple things I want to point out. The way to get the 90 degrees is I move my lower body in opposition, allowing the board to slide sideways, but notice that my lead shoulder is pointed at the end of the box. The reason I want to do this is because wherever my shoulders are at the end of the box, my lower body's going to follow. So I want to come out in my dominant direction. I'll point my lead shoulder to the end of the rail, and then I'll simply just ride off and get back into a neutral position. The second step to this board slide is as soon as you touch the box, get into that board slide as soon as possible to start building your confidence and comfort for our next step, which is going to be catching a little bit of air and landing in a familiar position, which is that board slide with our lead shoulder point at the end of the rail. Then we get to ride the whole entire thing and ride away feeling awesome. Trick number 5, let's do a frontside board slide. Now this will be the opposite of what we just did, but a minor difference. You're going to notice that I'm putting a lot more weight over my lead foot while in that board slide position. This is going to be what is more considered a proper frontside board slide. Yes, you could do it more in the center, but this one's definitely way more legit. But of course, we don't have to dive straight into a frontside board slide. We can do this 50-50 and then shift into a frontside board slide. Once again, this is going to build your confidence and awareness of exactly what positions you should be in. Now the goal, as you do your 50-50, shift about 60% of your weight over your lead foot, allowing your board to pivot. Then keep your eyes and lead shoulder pointed at the end of the rail while driving your back heel down the hill so that the board can get to 90 degrees, and then hold that position for the duration of the box, and the goal is to come out in your dominant direction. After that, I definitely would suggest learning this frontside board slide, but you will notice that I'm actually shifting my body to the outside of the box, allowing half my board to hang out. When I do this, this just makes it as proper as possible, plus lets me know if I have my weight in the right place. To make sure your weight is in the right place, keep your belly button stacked over your lead foot, getting that board and weight to be pressed and feeling awesome. Trick number 6, let's do a tail press. Now the goal is to jump on the box, remain in a press over your tail, and not let the nose of your board touch back down. But of course, we can learn this in a progressive way, meaning we can do a basic 50-50, and then we're going to shift our weight over the tail of our board, allowing the nose of the board to come up. But understand, different boards are going to have different flexes. This board right here is actually relatively stiff, so I have to really exaggerate shifting my hips and my belly button directly over the tail as much as possible without, of course, falling over. One other thing to note, you'll notice that my lead shoulder, eyes, and board are all pointed in the same direction, allowing that board to not pivot, twist, or turn while I'm in the 50-50/tail press. Next, of course, our goal is to make this as proper as possible, so let's use the ramp to catch a little bit of air. While we're in the air, we're going to shift our board forward while leaning back over our tail so that we can land in that tail press, hold the tail press for the duration of the box, and then at the end, line back up so that you can land with both feet at the same time and ride away feeling awesome. Trick number 7, let's learn a frontside blunt. Now the goal is to go backwards while shifting all of our weight to the back foot, and of course we're holding the 90 degrees as much as we can. And yes, as you imagine, we can break this into a smaller chunk, meaning doing a 50-50, shifting our board to 90 degrees while shifting our hips and belly button over the back binding. This one's definitely a little squirrely for me because I have a bad hip, but a decent demonstration. Then of course we want to make this trick as proper as possible, so use the jump to get a little bit of air, get that board at 90 degrees while keeping the lead shoulder and eyes at the end of the rail, and I had to use a bit of counter rotation, allowing me to get that board back from underneath me. After that, go ahead and try a fun nollie pop that's going to give you a little bit more spring and flare entering it. Shift that weight over the back binding, and again I like to hold the board over the edge, that also helps me translate this to a smaller or more narrow feature. Trick number 8 is called the Coffin Slide, and this one is definitely for fun. I don't do this a lot, but it's very doable and can be safe if you follow the steps in this video, starting with get a little bit of speed, and as I'm riding into the feature, you're going to notice that I drop my tailbone / belly button as low to the ground as possible. Then I press my knees out from underneath me, and I'm actually falling only a couple inches instead of a couple feet. As I'm riding the box, you gotta just hold on and enjoy the ride. And then you gotta have a sense of when the feature's ending. This one has a nice little drop off, so I have enough time to do an aggressive sit up and getting my board back underneath my center of mass, allowing me to ride away. In the moment, this was a lot easier for me to ride switch out, but for you, riding regular may be a better option. And then after all that hiking, I am absolutely wrecked.
What it's really like.
About 18 months ago, I had hip surgery for a torn labrum, and it's not fixed at all.
Spotted in the wild. One real life Tommy Bennett.
I've spent most of this season in a lot of pain. I can ride about 2 to 3 hours, and then I got to get in the fetal position. I've done a lot of PT, a lot of working out, a lot of stuff, but ultimately I just got to get through this insurance complication, get back to the doctor, and hopefully get some answers. And definitely let me know if you're digging the content by liking the video. Comment down below which trick you find to be the most awesome, and if you want a video on how to ride terrain just like this, check out this video here.